Pride comes before the destruction, and a haughty spirit goes before a fall. That is Proverbs 16:18. So we gotta get rid of our pride, and we gotta get rid of our arrogance, and we gotta be humbled, man. Humbled. You can't go down there. You can't go down there with any cockiness or any arrogance or any pride. You gotta stay humble, man. I mean, perfect example. I got an example for all of you. We go down to Monterey one year. We're the first team to ever lose to Monterey in Gordonsville Tiger history, and the reason we lost to them is because we went down there cocky. We went down there, had pride, and we had arrogance, and we thought, man, ain't nobody ever lost to Monterey. We ain't gonna start. Guess what? We did. So get rid of your pride, get rid of your arrogance, and get rid of all your cockiness, and stay humble, man. You got to, because God don't want no cockiness. He don't want no arrogance, and he don't want no pride. So get rid of it and listen to your coach. When your coach tells you to do something, don't think you're greater than the coach, because the coach knows best. And that's about all I got.
Hey, coming to you live from Studio G in Hickman, Tennessee. I'm Rusty B.
And this is Paul Martin, and you're in the Huddle. Hut, hut.
Hut. Your name don't rhyme. We got to come up with something it rhymes with. Of course, my name wouldn't rhyme if we use Burton. What rhymes with Burton? Hurting? I guess. I don't know. Regardless, Paul, we got a big win last Friday night. Huge win, looking at it from a region standpoint. Needed it, and we got it. The first half of that game, it wasn't that pretty. But, we did pull out the W. What did you think about the game? What was your take on it?
Well, first of all, we got a shutout, 32-0. We
second shutout in a row.
Second shutout in a row.
What was it, 37?
Back to the 37-0 win over Republic before the bye week, and then now coming off the bye week, got a 32-0 shutout over Monterey. So back-to-back shutouts, and
the shutout was a little sloppy.
But my take on the game was I feel like we could have played better. It was kind of a sloppy shutout, like you say, because they had the plays to make, and sometimes we blowed some coverage on defense, and we got to get better at that as the weeks go by.
Our secondary really, we really missed some.
We missed some.
They missed some prime opportunities. I'll say that, because they had. I know they dropped 4 passes that 2 of them had 6 probably wrote all over it, or at least moving the football down the field to put yourself in position.
That's defensively. We left some plays on the field that we probably could have made.
They struggled to catch the football. And we know that struggle all too well, the struggle with the passing game and all that and how it's been going. But we did, complete some passes.
2,
and we finally got a touchdown pass that cost me a hot dog.
That is correct. It was a 38-yard touchdown pass from Adam Gooseby to Bill Washer.
And I had promised Paul I'd carry on Earl Stallings.
His hot dog thing on a touchdown pass.
And so if we got a touchdown pass, I'd buy Paul a hot dog. And before Bill ever got to the end zone, Paul was headed up the hill with both his arms in the air, hollering hot dog.
So I already knew he was headed that way.
The hot dog, that's what I'm going to nickname Bill Washer from here on out, hot dog. He cost me a hot dog. But when you get to the concession stand, they didn't have no hot dog.
They didn't, so I didn't get a hot dog after all. But I'll tell you what.
You still got my $2, though.
I put it in the collection plate at church, so you made an offering.
You go.
You made an offering.
That's good, Paul.
So this week, Rusty, he made the donation to the Gordonsville United Methodist Church offer plate.
The hot dog fund.
You could call it the hot dog fund donation.
There we go.
But so maybe
regardless, we got a touchdown pass. The pass was thrown. We pointed out as thrown a
little bit behind him,
and it actually played out to his favor because it hadn't been thrown in front of him. He probably wouldn't have went for 6. The kid was playing the ball. It was thrown behind him, and he kind of overran in the play, and Bill had to cut back and got in the end zone. So, finally got a first touchdown pass. That's a positive.
Yes, it is.
We did throw an interception early on. Was the first drive of the game.
That pass was intended for Corthell, threw a little bit behind him, and
he picked
it off.
A little bit short, and we got it picked off. But essentially, the defense played football.
We got in the first few drives, we forced them into like 2 intentional grounding penalties as we was sacking
We
them.
had some kids getting after the football the other night.
So they got after it.
Their running game really wasn't there. So, I mean, we shut that down pretty well. Vault and Pittman, I believe, was on the first sack, right? They got in there. And did he throw the ball into the ground maybe then, or was it later on?
Yeah, I think he did. But anyhow, Scott Pittman stepped in there and made some plays.
Pittman he's been playing good.
And I wanna comment on another kid and get his name in the huddle because he's had some good games and we really hadn't talked about him a lot. Jason West, he's been stepping up and making some plays, and I want to get that kid's name in the hat because
we've got several
because
kids
he's made plays for us.
We got several kids that don't get mentioned a whole lot that probably should. They just kind of get caught up in the mix, and that's Pope and Vault. They've been playing football. They've been playing excellent football.
And of course, Stallings with a block punt the other night, so you can't forget about him. He's hustling. And that was our first block punt since Ryan George blocked one in 2001.
We may have got the one before then. We're not 100% on
Well,
that.
I think it was
coming from Paul Martin's memory. That's the first one we've blocked in a long time.
Yeah, it's the first one we blocked in a long time, but it's always nice to see that. It's always nice to see a block punt.
Hey, special teams, that's one thing I say we struggle with the defensive side of special teams, but we excel at the offensive side of it as far as kicking goes. I think maybe our kickoff team sometimes we outkick the coverage a little bit because they had 2 or 3 returns that, one move here or there and they could have been in the end zone. And of course, Trousdale, they returned one on us.
But as far as the block and punt game, I think we excel at getting back there and getting pressure on the punters, and then I know we excel on field goals. We're now 2 for 2 on field goals, and extra points we missed 1 all year, so that's looking good.
We actually went for 2 the other night,
and we got a 2-point conversion, making us 2 for 2 on that.
It's always good to know that plays there in case you ever need it.
Of course. Our punting game, I seen on the film, you and I watched the film, and I seen he pinned one in down around the 12 because he had to redo it.
Well, we had to re-kick it. I never understood why we had to re-kick it.
But
never seen a flag.
But I seen at least 2 that was at the 20 or further down the field. So he was punting pretty good.
We down 1 inside the 10. I think another one inside the 15.
Right
around the 15. So the
he
punting game, he's still punting well. Adam's still
pretty
punting
good
the ball.
all night.
I still think he's probably one of the better punters in 1A football that you're going to see.
Like I say, he had 2 completions.
So special teams, we're actually, offensively, I think they're actually pretty good, but when it comes to the defensive side of it is where we've been struggling a bit. As far as
covering kicks
kicks and punts. I think, punts not terrible.
We're not terrible on punt coverage.
Covering the kickoff is just, as a fan, when you're sitting up there watching it and you see the holes open up and you think, man, that kid cut one step to the left, he was.
I want to mention something though. I seen on the film, and the person that was up around the drone or something. I heard somebody say, "Man, he just waylaid that kid."
Got run over.
We was on the kick return team, and one of our players come down there. One of our players come down there on the kick return team and literally laid one of Monterey's kids out.
We were kicking,
right. Well, we were kicking.
Maybe
we was kicking to them, but whatever. One of their kids got ran over.
I don't know who did that. You could hear it on the film. It was a good hit.
Yeah, and I like to see that too when somebody literally paylays somebody.
Those special teams, that's when you go hit somebody.
And let's give props on a 66-yard run there at the end of the game for Hancock getting down the field and getting a block.
Yeah, all those Braxton's running downfield, and you got a lot of kids jogging, just trying to keep up with the play, and Hancock realizes he's still going, and that kid turns on the hustle and
goes down there and opens it up.
Yeah, he goes down there and keeps on blocking, and we get 30 more yards. So you can imagine if every kid starts paying attention and getting on down there and blocking downfield.
We're going to get those big runs.
Could be the difference in 6 points and not. Of course, a lot of times when you see that happen, the kid's going downfield, you'll get a block in the back or something like that. So it's one of those things. Do you risk it or do you not risk it? Or But Hancock actually got out in front of him and went and blocked.
Yeah.
Which is, see them young guys put that hustle into it. That's what I like to see. That's why I go to football games. I want to see somebody hustle. Or you get beat, but go down.
But in a close game,
trying.
In a close game, that key block where you got out front and led the block and got your guy in the end zone, it could be the difference in winning and losing.
Yeah, we talked about this being a big region game and getting, as you get on down the road, granted, Monterey, you look back and you say, well, it was we struggled the first half, but it was a game that we figured to win, right? You look back at Republic, we figured to win it. We struggled against Red Bull and in the rain a little bit, which I think we should have pulled away in that game a little more. Of course, the conditions didn't help a lot of teams across the state. If you look back at that week, there were some tight ball games. No excuses, but it's just the way it is. The weather plays a big part in some of those games. But when you take the game we got coming up Friday night against Pickett, the game we figured to win, and we figured to win out in our region. You know what I'm saying? We expect to win. I don't think there's teams that's playing that good of football to beat us.
Well,
Joe Burns could be an exception.
Joe Burns is on top of their game now. They're if they win Friday, they're going to be 6-1. So they actually think they're favored to beat us and think they can beat us.
That's right. But that's another
so
one.
We
got to
go take it.
That's another one of them games that the weather probably cost them a victory.
Yeah, I mean they could be undefeated if it wasn't for that. Yeah, it was, but they could have been undefeated maybe.
In the rain. And Joe Burns could be one of the teams that gives us fits. But as you look,
honestly, I think looking at the rest of our schedule, I think that game's going to be for the region championship. Honestly,
go ahead and circle it. We still got to play football and win football games. Just like you said in your little sermon, you can't let your pride get the best of you and think you got them won. We expect to win, and you should also expect to win, but you got to play football as a player.
But now we'll talk about Pickett a little bit later. We're still
we'll talk about those later. But when you look down the road toward the playoffs, you're going to have some teams. They're not going to be easy victories.
No,
you got to play some football, and you almost have to condition yourself now to keep playing and play as hard as you can every play.
So kids,
because one day coming up quick, it's going to matter.
So kids, me and Rusty's telling you now, hit your weights hard. Get in the weight room. Get strong. When the coach, when the coach tells you to run, maybe stay after practice and run a little extra because it could help you down the road. Because speed and conditioning is gonna matter as you hit those playoffs.
That's right. You got to go hard on every play. You're not gonna have a play where you can let up any.
Right.
Monterey proved that the other night. We had some plays that they should have scored on that they didn't execute, and it doesn't matter. I'll say this too. In almost every football game right now, Butch Jones is going through the worst time of his life. I believe they're ready to hang him in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Right, and he's not the only coach in the world they're trying to hang.
And LSU's kind of having a down week too, where they lose to Troy. But that goes back to what I talked about. You got to stay humble because did they think they would lose to Troy? No.
Let me throw my opinion out there. This is what it boils down to sometimes. It's not always. I mean, you can blame a coach here and there, yeah. Sometimes it's their fault. Maybe they're not coached well or whatever, not during the game. But when it comes game time, the difference in a successful play and an unsuccessful play a lot of times is execution. Amongst the players on the field. You can't. The coach can't take the handoff for you. He can't throw the pass for you. So the players have to take a little bit of responsibility on themselves to say, look, for this play to be successful,
we got to execute.
We got to execute. And you have to believe you're going to execute. And, and Coach Wills taught me this a long time ago, and he used to teach all of us this. If you'll envision it, before you ever do it, you'll be more likely to do it. Right? If you envision yourself being successful, you'll be successful. Right. So if you're picturing a terrible pass, you're probably going to throw a terrible pass. Or if you're envisioning breaking out like Braxton on an 80-yard run every play, you're going to do it. Right. It may not be every play, but that execution will come when you start believing in yourself. And And when it comes down to it, it's all execution. And I think that's the biggest hurdle we have right now is getting these players and convincing these players that they are capable of executing every play we call. And they are. I believe in them.
Just like I believed that we was going to throw a touchdown pass, and maybe my believing caused it to happen.
Maybe it did, but that's what I'm saying, though, Paul. The players have to believe.
Maybe they
and
heard
now that he's threw a touchdown pass. Maybe it'll
carry over, and he'll throw many more.
When you lay, I swear I used to lay in my bed at night for a game, and I couldn't sleep. I'd envision everything that was about to happen. Like making tackling right. There's ways to tackle people and ways not to.
And we seen on film another time where another one of our players dropped that head.
Yeah, we can't be dropping our head to make tackles. That's no. But regardless, our secondary needs to get better. We got to work on that. And of course, I'm sure they're going to see this when they look at the film. Secondary needs to improve.
Kickoff return team.
Our kick coverage.
Yeah, kick
coverage needs to improve. The passing game still needs improvement. We did complete a couple passes, but I think down the road that's going to be key to whether we win some of the bigger games or not. Because like I said, we know we can run the football, but what happens when a team steps up and throws all them kids in the box and says, "Hey, we're going to stop your run, and now you got to beat us passing." You have to be able to execute, and if we can execute, then guess what? They're beat. But that all starts right there on the practice field. So, looking back at the Monterey game, I think we did some good things. I think we got a lot of stuff we need to work on. Of course, we hadn't brought up Braxton's
294 yards.
294 yards and 2 fumbles. You look at the bright side of things, Braxton's got how many yards?
1,153 yards.
Paul's been keeping a stats. 1,153 yards, which is great. 1,000 yards in 6 games?
1,153 in 6 games. And I don't know what the record is, but if he made, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. If he goes 14 games, he will have the record, and he'll have 3,000 yards.
14 games is a lot,
Of course, if the record's like 2250, I ain't gonna go as far as say he can't break it in 12 games.
Hey, Braxton's gonna get. We know we got 10 games, so we got what, 3 left, 4.
We got
Pickett.
We got 4 games left.
You take that 200 yards a game, if he can get 200
and
a game.
He's going to get his 2,000 yards through 10 games, I think.
And I got all the faith in the world that the kid can do it.
I'm curious to know what the record is, though.
Yeah, well, maybe we can look that up. Get somebody look it up for us.
Look that up for us, people. What was Calvin's best year? His record, so we know so we can let Braxton know, and he can bust out and say I like 55 yards, and then he'll know he's got to get 55
you
yards.
Got to set a goal. Maybe the kid will set a goal. But you want to get all you can. You don't push kids to get records and all this stuff.
But we said coming in this year for his junior year, a 2,000-yard season would be huge for a junior year.
1,500 last season was huge. If you ask me, almost 1,600 yards.
And he's going to get well over that this year because we're accomplishing goals.
Looking at it from a fan standpoint. I like to see the kid. I like to have seen him get 300 last week, but I understand you don't want to run the score up. One day I had a couple people ask me about the field goal. Why did we take a knee and kick field goal? Do you know the answer to that? I'm going to tell you my opinion on it. Now, I don't know this. I haven't talked to a coach.
I think personally they want to practice a field goal in case later on in the season we may need a field goal in a close game, and they want to get him some extra practice.
Well, Paul, I will say this: you were begging for a field goal earlier in the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all that story. I'm sitting over there. We're on about the 22, 23 yard line, something like that, and I'm over there. It's about 3rd down and 4, and I'm over there screaming, "Kick the field goal! Kick the field goal!" And Marshall turns around. It's on 3rd down, and it gets to be 4th down. It gets to be 4th down, and we're still on about the 22 yard line or so. And I'm hollering out, "Kick the field goal! Kick the field goal!" And just the top of my lungs, so they can hear me. And Coach Marshall, he turns around and says, "It's not in his range. We get inside the 20, then we can do it." And later on in the night, I think he personally wanted to kick old Paul a field goal because he'd been hollering at him so loud about that field goal.
Well, Paul was excited. The Moose even spoke to him.
Yeah,
First off, that made his night. Second,
it did.
Paul, we got the field goal in. But my opinion on this is the mercy rule kicks in at 35 points.
Right.
We were at what, 29?
29-0 when we kicked the field goal.
If you kick the field goal, the clock stops, just like normal. If we score the touchdown, if we do happen to score a touchdown, then first off, we run up the score, which is, it seems that way to some.
About 36-0.
Yeah, it seems that way.
I think
that
I got
gets
a good
them
idea.
younger kids. It gets them younger kids a little extra time on the field.
I thought that was what you was about to say.
Gives them an opportunity to get in the game,
and that makes sense. So go ahead and kick the field goal and let the young kids have a shot.
From a fan standpoint, I can respect that. You know, and I honestly, I don't, like I said, I don't know if that's their thinking, or
or if it was what I said, they just want to practice a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a combination. But in all honesty, that was a respectable thing to do. And, like I said, I had 2 or 3 people ask me why we would do that. But that was the only thing I could think of, was to keep it under the
36 or 5,
the mercy rule. Because a lot of people don't even understand how that works.
But 35 points starts
at 35
right?
points, the clock never stops rolling. So you can run out of game pretty quick. Now, if you got a good team that capable of putting up some points and you can mercy rule them as fast as you can, but regardless, that was my take on it. So anyway, somebody else may have a different opinion.
But anyhow, we got the field goal in there, and
that's right. So
and the fact that Coach Marshall spoke to me, like Rusty said, it just makes my night. Because I love old Coach Marshall and
Paul's night.
Love him and love the coaching staff, and just love to be noticed every once in a while.
Yeah. But speaking of getting noticed, we're going to bring this up here a little later on. Actually, let's just go ahead and talk about it now, Paul.
All right.
For the second year in a row, Paul,
the Grand Marshal.
Paul takes off. Speaking of Marshall, Paul takes it upon himself to be the Grand Marshal. Were the police saying anything to you?
Well, on the way back home, I heard Shannon Hunt, which happens to be one of my kinfolks. He said on the loudspeaker, "Paul Martin," and he said it on the loudspeaker because he recognized who I was. But I'll tell y'all why the Grand Marshal means so much to me. Well, the reason the Grand Marshal means so much to me is because it's my opportunity and my once opportunity every year to walk down the street and actually high five the kids, and the kids they're actually excited to see me. And listen to this, I'm walking down the road and Drew Agee comes through, and he thinks the fan of the year, Drew Agee, comes through on the sidewalk, and he thinks for some reason I've got a camera or something, and I'm gonna take a picture with him as I'm strutting down the road. But I'm like, Drew, I don't have a camera. I wish I had one. I'd Photoshop you right here. But anyhow, Drew, he's down the sidewalk. He says, my dad's down to school. I said, yeah. And I said, I tell you what you need to do. You need to hop on this sidewalk right here, and you need to go run all the way back to the school and stay on the sidewalk. Don't get in the road. And I said, head on back down to school. And he did. He was a boogieing down that sidewalk. Yeah. But anyhow, I'm walking down the road, and I see all these little kids, and somebody, I think it's Julius Stinson or somebody, told me, said, holler, go Big Blue as you're coming through. So I'm going through, and I'm just hollering, go Big Blue every area of the sidewalk. And these fans, they're actually hollering, go Blue. They're doing it with me as I'm going down the sidewalk. And
getting them jacked up.
Then the team comes down there on the wagon, and I'm like, and I got them doing that too. Got them acting. We were having some fun, acting like dogs. But
you got them excited.
I got them excited.
Well, I'm gonna tell everybody my version of how
we got the shutout.
How this year got started with Paul being the Grand Marshal. I had him calm down and probably talked into not being the Grand Marshal, not taking it upon himself to run down Main Street. And Kurt Bass just happens to walk out, and of course Paul walks up and he says, "Paul, you should be doing like Paul Revere did when the British were coming." and go right down Main Street hollering the Tigers are coming. And, Paul got this funny look on his face, and I look around, and Paul's gone. He's out front leading the parade in front of the police and everything, and he just,
Yeah, I mean, I finally realized that I could still do it because they hadn't got by me yet, and then I got that mischievous look on my face like, they ain't by me yet. I could still go out there, and I did.
Yeah, Paul defied the producer's wishes and just took it upon himself.
I kind of looked and said, Rusty, can I do it? And he said, I don't care what you do. And then I just went. I just went and I got a lot of likes on my photo of me with me getting in motion, getting ready to go.
That's right. Well, Paul,
but it was awesome though.
Got a shutout.
Great opportunity.
We got a shutout. Paul got to be grand marshal. Homecoming game, I think it made us kind of typical homecoming game. We played a little sloppy that first half. A couple fumbles. We just want to talk about them fumbles that Braxton had. He had on. He said his back plate broke, so he bought a rib protector, and he couldn't hardly get the ball tucked in. Every time he'd go to tuck it, it would just kind of bounce off of it. So he took that off. No more fumbles. So
right,
maybe that problem will be solved. And he has had a history of fumbling, just that random, and it happens to every running back. If you carry the football enough, you're gonna fumble it. That's all you can say. So maybe you got that took care of. We got the W. This week we got a big game we need to win against Pickett County. We're going to talk about that coming up. And any other thoughts on the Monterey game, Paul?
Well, I think they brought their popcorn because we had a heck of a show.
You put on a show. That second half is a pretty good show.
Yeah.
You got your hot dog.
Well, not yet.
Well, you won your bet.
Well, yeah, you're right.
If you call it a bet, it really wasn't a bet because you didn't have nothing to lose.
Right, but I mean, it went in the offer plate at church, and
that helps.
And Rusty, and I want to. Can I mention what I'm free from? Where you don't have to talk about that anymore.
You're gambling debt.
I said, and I just want to mention too. He talks about betting all the time on here and concerns that to my name. I'm 2 months. I'm 2 months free now from gambling and
no lottery tickets.
No lottery tickets. No nothing. And
that's good.
Just I'm free and I put that pot behind me now. I've still got another addiction, but it's tough. Life's tough. It'll kick you right the rear.
Quitting gambling is not that tough.
Well, that ain't the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about another one, but it's something I can't discuss.
All right, we won't discuss that on there.
But anyhow,
we'll be back.
Anyhow, big win, and we'll get ready after a commercial break to talk about Pickett County.
Pickett County coming up. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Paul. You reached in the huddle.
Hey, man, Reno Bun here, man. Just calling to tell y'all, man, if you need a good drug dealer, man, go down to Gordonsville Drugs, man. Best drug dealer in town. Amy down there, she'll fix you up, man. Got the best drugs around. Drugs that keep you up at night, make you go sleep at night, make you pee the bed. She got all kind of drugs, man. Last time they told me to take my blood pressure pill, but told me to take it in the morning. Well, I'm a rebel. Took it at night. I stayed up all night and just peed for hours. Just straight. It looked like somebody done turned the water hose on and it wouldn't go off. Anyway, man, gonna tell y'all one time. True story. I was driving down the road. Actually, I was standing in line up at Amy's Pharmacy up yonder, and on the other end of town there, and I saw the Bass Funeral Home hearse come by, and the old hearse comes by, and all of a sudden he comes in there on two wheels, and out of the back of that thing, this coffin comes out, this casket or whatever comes out, and he flies through the window of Amy's Drugs and lands right up there by the counter. And this little guy jumps out of the casket there and says, he jumps up and he looks at Amy real funny. And he says, have you got anything to stop this coffin? But anyway, true story. Don't ever forget that. I tell you what, will stop the coughing. X-Lax. And I go in the drugstore one time up there, and I told her, look, I got a terrible cough. I need to stop it. I need some X-Lax. And she says, X-Lax won't work for coughing. I said, yeah, give me one of them, and I'm going to be afraid to cough, So it helps. When you got a bad cough, take X-Lax. It helps big time. But anyway, I did take some medicine up there one time, my blood pressure medicine. I asked her, I said, Amy, why does this medicine have 40 side effects? And she said, well, that's all they've got documented so far. So just every time you take a medicine, it's going to have a side effect. Like in birth control pills, got mad side effects. And one time I read the bottle of my old lady, I got her some in birth control pills, and they give her some up there at Amy. And I read the side of the bottle. And then I got to reading all the paperwork and literatures and stuff on it, and it's talking about all these side effects. And I thought, that's just too dangerous for you, baby. I believe I'm gonna just take them, to keep you out of harm's way. So I ended up taking them, and that's how I got these babies. See, it was loaded with some kind of hormones or something other. But they going away now. They got off of them. But anyway, hey, if you need a drug dealer, go to Amy's Drugs up at Gordonsville Drugs. Go up there and stop in, and she'll whip you up some kind of snake oil or whatever you got. She got all kind of trinkets in there for sale, too. If you like pocket knives with Gordonsville State Championship stuff, they got it. Got a pocket knife with it on there. Got that big G. So get on in there and get you some of that. And I'm going to holler back at you boys. Go get them our Good Win Friday night. Go get them this Friday night. And I'm going to bring my popcorn. It's going to be a show. I'll holler back at you boys.
All right, welcome back to In the Huddle.
Hut. Paul got to get a hut in there. Paul done talked about Monterey. We're going to come up and talk about a big game Friday night. Pickett County. The baseball field, we're going to hit a home run, hopefully.
In the words of Pickett County, we're going to knock it out of the park.
Knock it out of the park. I hope so. Pat Warren will have to take his binoculars. I hope he don't forget those this year.
I got something I want to say before we get started about team talk and all this. This team in like their first or second game or whatever, they got put on probation by the TSSAA for 2 years and fined $1,000 because they got in a fight with Zion Christian. Now, the one thing I want to stress is don't go down there Friday night and get in a fight with these people because they really ain't got a whole lot to lose because they're already on probation. So don't go down there and get in a fight with them, and don't go down there and get yourself in a big mess because these people they like to fight. So don't go get caught up in the fight and get kicked out of Friday and the next week. You go down there and you keep the sportsmanship alive, and let's get the W and come home intact. And because the sportsmanship award that's given out each year to teams that keep sportsmanship all the year.
Go ahead. I was watching.
That's given out to teams that keep their sportsmanship all year long, and that might not mean a lot to some people, but it means a lot to me. Sportsmanship. I want to be a fan of good sportsmanship. What about you, Rusty?
I like sportsmanship. Unless it comes down to lose, I like to win.
But we don't want to go down there and get caught up in a fight and get ourselves in trouble.
Well, there's a fine line between playing dirty and fighting. You got to get a little dirty to play football sometimes. It's just the way it is. But
you don't want to come out swinging and do anything silly.
That's right. There's a fine line between it. Like I said, to be a football player, I'm talking about a good defensive football player maybe. The defensive side of the football is where you see a lot of this. You got to be a little bit dirty. You got to be gritty. And sometimes you just, but you got to know where to draw the line.
That's absolutely right. You can't start swinging and you can't punch anybody, and right. we don't. Our intention is not go down there and get in a big fist fight and melee breaking out.
And you sit out what?
You sit out the rest of that game, and I think the very next game or half of it won.
Yeah, you'll get the half and half. So,
but
the whole game essentially.
But we don't want to get caught up in that.
That I got to sit out some baseball games because of the last football game I ever played in.
Did you get in a fight?
No, but maybe it was dirty, maybe it wasn't. I just kind of hit a kid and held him there for a little while longer than maybe he should have. But yeah, I mean, I did put it on him, so I deserved it. And of course, we didn't get the sportsmanship award, and I felt terrible.
Right. We want to get that, and I think my year. Well, actually, I don't even think the year I played we got it because I think essentially Chris Rickles got bit or something or poked in the eye, and then he turned around and bit one of the players.
I know how that feels.
He turned around and bit one of the Red Bowling players after they poked him in the eye and cost us the sportsmanship award. But they're liable to try something like this Friday night. Don't get caught up in it.
That's
and
right.
and if you're a fan, Don't get caught up in the fans if they start swinging at you either, because we don't want to get arrested and we don't want to get kicked out of Pickett County. The main goal
that
is
school got fined what, $1,000?
$1,000 is what I heard, and 2 years probation.
From what I just read, it involved a couple players on the sidelines, and I don't even know if it had anything to do from the other team. I think it said a state trooper was involved, a parent, a coach, a manager, and a couple players.
Yeah.
So,
2 years probation and $1,000 fine.
Himself, which is, fine and dandy if they want to do that. But I think they've put all that behind them now, and they're going to move forward.
Right, but anyhow, we don't want to get caught up in that if they decide to fight.
That's right. Pickett County don't have the best of facilities. It's pretty dark.
It's a baseball field, and it's dark in that one end zone.
We're going to play about, I don't know, I think our sideline's going to be, about second base. It's about where it's at.
And they don't have a fence either. The players are essentially right there on the fence.
If you're a fan and you're listening to this and you've never been to Pickett County,
you're on the players.
Take a folding chair if you want to sit down, because they got a little old bitty set of bleachers and they're not much. So take you a folding chair. Maybe that's some good advice we can give somebody. The scoreboard way off in a hole. I don't even know that it's maybe even be a baseball scoreboard. They just put the score on, so it don't really have the time. I don't know. I don't remember.
It does have the time on it because I remember that, and it's got the score.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those combo deals.
But
regardless, not a very good facility to go play football.
Stats. We've had a few of our
much about them.
We've had a few of our fans asking for some stats and stuff, and on the players and the defense and whatnot. Statistically, they're giving up a whole lot of points on defense.
I'll let the math wheels add it up. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna run some scores by you.
Well, he's going to read you some of their scores, and they're 2-4. They come in with a 2-4 record. Their wins were over Republic and Zion Christian, and they got losses to everybody else. But
they are Region 1-4A,
and they do have. I think they do have one region win over Republic.
They do have a region win. That's probably their first region win in a while. Not 100% on that, but they are 1-1 in the region. They defeated Republic
42-40, I think.
42-40. I don't see the scores there, but I can click on their name here and it'll bring up a magical schedule. Oakdale, they lost 42-52, so they can put up some points. They can. Zion Christian,
they win that one 18-15, the fight game,
and they lost to Clinton County, Kentucky, 68-0. Red Bowling, they lost 36-8.
Yeah.
Sail Creek, which is one of those teams that we're going to possibly see out of
that region.
The region that we hit in the playoffs.
We could see that team.
They lost 24-35, 35-24. And they beat Republic 42-40. So
this team can score a few points here and there.
That's something typically you see. You don't see a lot of wins from Pickett County, but this year they've got 2. So
they're improving.
Yeah, and that we watched a little bit of them. They got a couple athletic kids. Right. I don't think they're.
We can't see numbers on the jerseys because it's so dark, but
you can't overlook them as we've talked about before.
But they've got some athleticism, and they got a little bit of size on that line. Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
They had a couple of athletes, so it's not going to be terrible. Who they got left? They got us, of course, Friday night. Then they got Monterey, Clay County, and Joe Burns. So they're hitting the heart of
their
of
schedule.
our region, yeah. So,
but they're on probation, which means that disqualifies them from the playoffs.
That's right. They're not going to make the playoffs. Currently, right now in our region, their standings are.
Right now, the standings.
Gordonsville went to the top after Clay County.
Gordonsville is at the top at 3-0. Salina is 3-1. Joe Burns, I think, is 3-1. And Monterey has now got 2 losses, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, Monterey is down to 1-2. They have Pickett, Republic, and Red Bowling left, and I look for Monterey to win all 3 of those.
So we're expecting Monterey to make the playoffs as possibly a 3 or 4 seed.
I think you're looking at us, Clay County, Joe Burns, and Red Bowling, or not Red Bowling, Monterey.
Negative. I think it'll be Gordonsville number 1, Joe Burns number 2, Salina number 3, and Monterey number 4.
Well, I wasn't saying them in order. I was just saying looking at the 4 that are going to the playoffs.
Well, I'm telling you what I think it'll be in the order: Gordonsville, Joe Burns, Salina, and then Monterey. Lest we get upset by Joe Burns, which you can't never take them for granted. Them
right. Joe Burns
with just 1 loss.
We'll look at their schedule real quick. Cascade, they won 34-0.
Other than their 7-0 loss to Monterey, they've been rolling.
You know, Monterey, they lost 7-0. I think that was that rainy game, right? That was the monsoon.
And then they struggled with Westmoreland to a 14-6 win down the stretch.
East Robertson, 40-28, they won. Huntland, 26-6. Westmoreland, 14-6.
And I actually
I'm not 100% how good Westmoreland is this year.
Well, I seen the film on Westmoreland and Joe Burns, and the only reason Westmoreland didn't win that ball game is because the referees were totally on Joe Burns' side, and they kept throwing a bunch of 30-yard penalties on Westmoreland to keep them from scoring. But Westmoreland literally dominated that game, and the referees cost them. So, if you watch that film, you'll know what I'm talking about.
They've only got 1 loss. They're 5-1, 6-1, 5-1.
Probably 5-1. Who they got remaining this week?
They got us.
Not this week, you don't.
Republic's who they'll play this week.
Republic,
so they're
us.
probably going to be 6-1.
And then us, and then who's the other 2?
Red Bowling and Pickett. So they're pretty much a shoe-in to win those. So Gordonsville has to beat Joe Burns.
Yes.
You can write that down. And that game will be huge as far as getting in the right lane.
I'm going to go ahead and say that week after we get done with Pickett, the Joe Burns game will be for the region. Just mark it down.
Yeah. We have to beat them, and if we happen to lose that game, of course they'll win the region. And depending, neither one of us lose any more region games. This is all speculation. And
we don't want to lose that game because we want our home field playoff games.
That's right, and we're gonna be playing the ones from Region 3, I believe.
Which is you sell Pittsburghs and you sell Creeks and your Copper Basins and all them, right?
Yeah, and Whitwell and South Pitt currently
are tied.
They're both 6-0, and then they're 2-0 in their region. So that's one of them things.
Have they played yet? Them 2 teams.
They haven't, and I think they play this Friday night, so that's a big one we need to keep an eye on.
So that's a game. That's a game out of that region that we're going to want to take notes on.
Whoever wins that should win that region, and then I think Whitwell and Lookout Valley will be playing to see who is battling for the second spot. So
who's
Sail Creek
right now? Who's the bottom seed in that? The 4 seed.
Sail Creek is pretty much out of it at 0-3. Copper Basin is 1-2, and they still have Lookout Valley to play. They're at there's only 5 teams.
So
4 of those guys are going to the playoffs.
What's Copper Basin? What'd you say their record is? 1-2.
Well, they're 1-6 overall,
and 1-2 in the region.
1-2 in the region.
What's Lookout Valley in the region?
Lookout Valley is 1-1 in the region. And they play Copper Basin this weekend.
So a win over Copper Basin beats Lookout Valley, then that could put them back in it and possibly put Lookout at the bottom.
That's right.
And chances are, if we win our region, we'll either get Lookout or Copper, according to that, probably, right?
Yes.
At Gordonsville.
I think the team you're gonna have to watch for out of there. There's 2 teams out of that region that are really playing good.
And I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to go ahead and lean that South Pittsburgh is probably going to come out of there with a win over Whitwell.
Let's see if there's any games we can compare here.
What is Whitwell's record so far? Are they undefeated?
They're undefeated.
And so South Pitt.
Let's look out. They beat Boyd Buchanan 36-0, Bledsoe County 22-3, Copper Basin 51-0, Signal Mountain 43-0.
Who is this? Whitwell.
Whitwell. Lookout Valley 56-6, Polk County 41-6. This Friday.
When they play Trousdale County?
They showing them playing this Friday. So,
against Trousdale?
So South Pittsburgh will be the next game they play.
So they got Trousdale County next, right?
That's right.
Whitwell. Do you see? They
will be hosting
somebody told me that they predict Whitwell will beat Trousdale by 2 touchdowns.
Well, we're gonna find out Friday night.
So that's going to be a real test for Whitwell playing Trousdale County and their undefeated streak, ain't it?
Yeah, let's look at all.
Now is South Pitt undefeated or have they lost?
They're undefeated.
Really?
They beat Sequatchie County 28-21, who just beat
Smith County. So 28-21 over Sequatchie.
They beat Boyd Buchanan 49-7, Sale Creek 61-7, Marion County 56-18, Lipscomb Academy 26-3, Copper Basin 56-0. They are going to play.
And they got who next?
East Atlanta.
East Atlanta next?
East Atlanta.
Well, what do we know about them? What's their record? East Atlanta.
Well, they're in Georgia, so I don't know.
Will it tell us their record?
Maybe we could Google East Atlanta and just find out. Oh, we got the miracle of
Google.
East Atlanta high school football. Let's just see.
So we're going to try to figure out if that team
They are the Mustangs. Don't ever forget that.
We're going to try to figure out if the Mustangs can match up with the Pirates, who are undefeated.
Well, I see some championship rings here.
Well, then they must be decent.
They play in the GFC Football League, the Glory for Christ Football League. So
well, that makes me like them already.
Probably not a huge league.
But that makes me like them anyway, that Glory for Christ.
Let's see. Currently, they're 4-3.
All right. So probably another win for South Pitt.
Just a hunch. They're probably going to beat them.
Is that game at the Georgia Atlanta, or is it at South Pitt?
It's at South Pitt, and it's South Pitt's homecoming. So,
well, then it's probably a South Pitt win.
Go ahead and chalk up a victory. But Troy went to LSU and ruined their homecoming.
But Whitwell, we might not necessarily say they're going to keep their undefeated streak because they're playing Trousdale, and we know Trousdale's tough.
True.
But Trousdale has got 2 losses, so and the game at Whitwell, Whitwell could pull it off, couldn't he?
That's right. So, just looking at it breaking down right now, we said if 1 plays 4, right, and 2 plays 3, just if it were to fall the way you said it, this Lookout Valley and Copper Basin could be. I'm looking for Lookout Valley to win that. Looking at the, I'm
gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna take the Copper boys to upset the Lookouts. And is that game this week?
Looking at the wins,
is that Friday night? Lookout and Copper.
Yeah.
I'll go with the boys from the Copper.
Sale Creek 7-0. Copper Basin did.
And that's their only win.
Yeah.
Is that their only win?
Yep. And that was their homecoming. So
what was that? 7-0.
7-0. Now, when you look at Lookout Valley, they've got 3 or 4 wins. They've won over Concord Christian, Jellicoe High School. They lost to Chattanooga Christian. They lost to Whitwell. They lost to Huntland 20-8, and they beat Sale Creek 50-20. So I'm going to go ahead and just say they're going to be the 3rd horse in that race.
Sale Creek does have 1 win, don't they?
Sale Creek has 0 wins, and they've got Whitwell left. So
Sale Creek just got done beating Pickett, didn't they? Or didn't they beat Pickett County?
So
they should have beat Pickett.
I'm talking about region wins.
Well, what's Sale Creek's overall record? That one win?
That one win.
Over Pickett only?
Over Pickett. And that score was what?
35-24.
So, I mean...
And they'll play Salina in a few weeks.
If we were to draw the bracket out right now...
You're figuring we're going to play Copper Basin.
I'm going to put South Pittsburgh. All right.
As number 1, Whitwell number 2, Lookout 3, and Copper 4.
I'm going to put them playing Monterey. South Pitt, Monterey. All right.
All right, number 3 will be Salina, and that'll probably be Whitwell.
At Clay County. Or Clay County will be going to Whitwell. And then I'm going to put
Joe Burns will be 2 playing probably
Lookout Valley. And then I think maybe we could get a Copper Basin at home.
Now, how many of them teams out of that region are we actually going to be playing? And then when are we going to take on some of them other teams out of maybe the West?
The way they do it, they take these regions and they just cross them up, right?
Eventually, though, we're going to have to play a Western team,
when
right?
We get out in the third round. No, we won't be the West. We're going to be East this year, and we're about as far West as this region.
Well, once we finish up with this region, who will we go to next?
Us and Joe Burns are the 2 1A schools that are farther west than any other 1A schools. Yeah. That's why every year they throw us either every time they reclassify or do whatever they do. That we could get thrown to the West or we could get thrown to the East, depending on the number of schools they have. That's why we're always in a toss.
So who do you figure? Where do you figure we'll be playing after we finish up with this region we just talked about? Where's our next one? Maybe the Greenbacks and teams like that.
Yeah, but we got
and Coalfields.
You got to get out of this bracket, this first bracket here.
But eventually we may run into the Greenbacks and Coalfields, right?
That bracket is going to go through South Pittsburgh or Whitwell. You can write that down.
And if we get out of that, then eventually we may hit a Greenback or a Coalfield, right?
For example, let's go ahead and draw us a bracket out. I'm not 100% how this works. I could get this drawn out in about 10 minutes. Probably figure it all out. Every other year, you could possibly get home field advantage throughout the playoffs if you win your region. Right? And typically they'll take the higher seeded team. But if 2 number 1s meet, then in odd number years, it goes to the top bracket or the bottom, and they flip-flop it every year.
I think last year was the year that we had to travel the whole way, so I think this year...
Well, we got one game at home. We did.
Yeah, but
we finished
I
second
think if we had
region.
went, though, we was going to have to do a lot of traveling last year, so I think this could very well be our year where we're at home.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just have to see the bracket that they've got drawn out.
But Coalfield,
they don't release those until later.
But Coalfield is looking really good. By my count, I think they're undefeated.
Yeah, we'll look at them.
Greenback might only have 1 loss, maybe 2. I'm not 100%.
We'll go look at those in just a minute. But I'm going to make a prediction that we will be playing. Let me get my pencil and paper.
I can very easily see us making round 3 this year. I really can.
I don't know, buddy. It's going to be a tough uphill battle after that first. It's possible. I'm not going to count it out.
We could make round 3 though.
Let's just draw this out here. You come up with something interesting to talk about while I figure this out.
All right. While he's doing his figuring,
I'll go preach. Come up with something to preach on while I draw this.
While he's drawing this up, I'm gonna tell you some interesting facts. Pickett County was named after a man named Howard L. Pickett. That's a fact I found online. Howard L. Pickett is who named Pickett County, and then one of their important residents, or one of their most famous residents, or whatever, was Cordell Hull, and Cordell Hull won a Nobel Peace Prize for initiating the United Nations. So Cordell Hull is one of their big residents. Did you just
pull this out of your hat?
I looked it up.
You're doing a phenomenal job.
Cordell Hull is initiated the United Nations and won a Nobel Peace Prize for it. And they got a nickname. Pickett County has a nickname. Their nickname is the Gateway of Dale Hollow. So we're going down to the Gateway of Dale Hollow Friday night, down to Howard L. Pickett country, and Cordell Hull was their most famous resident, and who won, like I said, a Nobel Peace Prize for initiating the United Nations. Wow. And
it's amazing.
Cordell Hull, he gonna be rolling over in his grave when the turning 4 Tigers come to town.
Do you think?
because we're going to the gateway of Dale Hollow, and we're going to play on that baseball field. And in the words of that guy that used to, announce the Chicago Cubs, I forget what his name was, but he used to say, "Take me out to the ball game. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. If I don't get home, it's a shame." And I don't know. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. We're going to knock it out of the park Friday night. 3 strikes, and they struck out.
I got to figure out who do we say number 3 in our region is going to be more likely.
You said more than likely Lookout Valley.
No, I'm talking about in our region, Clay County.
Yeah.
Joe Burns.
Us, and then Joe Burns, and then Clay, and then Monterey.
So I'm going to put Clay.
All
right. And then they will be playing.
But all this could be subject to change when losses start taking place. If somebody loses that we ain't expecting to lose. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. You never know.
But
anything can happen.
But this is just the way he's drawing it out and expecting it to happen.
Speculation.
And he's
We'll look back. We'll keep this and look back and see how accurate we were when it comes out. Because if you remember last year, we nailed it.
Yeah, last year we were spot on, and this year I don't expect anything different because I expect the Big Blues coming to town, and the championship's going to come through the Big Bad Blue, or at least for a round or two.
All right, so now we would.
I think that kid's name was Harry Carey, but I'm not 100% the guy that was the announcer of the Chicago Cubs.
You nailed that.
I think he was Harry Carey.
Right. All right, and then I had, let's see, who did I say? Joe Burns?
Yeah.
Would be hosting.
Lookout Valley, I think.
Lookout Valley. Now I'm just going to go ahead and theorize here.
We would get Copper Basin probably. Joe Burns would get Lookout Valley. Number 3 would be Salina, and they should get Whitwell. And then Monterey should get the Big Dog, which is a game at South Pittsburgh.
Well, round 2 is the round that you really got to be on your horses. Round 2 and 3.
And then round two, who would we be playing after we take care of Copper Basin? Because I have no doubt we're going to take care of them.
Whitwell.
We'll get Whitwell round 2 at Tigertown.
And let's see.
At Tigertown, maybe.
They were home. And
or are we going to have to go to Whitwell?
Let's try to look and see how the home team went.
To be honest with you,
in the first and second rounds, the higher seeded team will be the host school. We knew that. The third round semifinals, in even numbered years, the bottom team in each bracket shall be the host. If 2 teams from the same region meet in the third round, the team seated higher in the region standing shall host.
So if we're on the bottom, then we're traveling.
That's right.
Well, how are we gonna know if we're on the bottom or the top?
Well,
how we figure that out?
We really won't know that until they get this figured out. Typically, the way they do it is they start off in, say, the even years, region 1, 2.
But
right.
But if we're playing Whitwell and they're a number 2 seed and we're a number 1 seed, we're automatically playing that in Gordonsville because we're 1, they're 2.
That's right.
So we would get Whitwell there, but then the next round we may have to play South Pitt,
and that
would be 1 and 1, and then it'll come down to.
If we beat Whitwell.
Then it'll come down to which one's on the bottom, which is on the top, right?
The road ahead looks challenging, but it is possible.
Now find us some records over in that one region, the Coalfields, Greenback, all that region.
We'll go to region 1, which is Cloudland, Jellicoe, Hancock, and County, and Unaka.
But that ain't nobody we'll play, is it?
Could possibly later on, yeah.
We won't be playing the Coalfields and the Greenbacks and all them.
They're going to settle it out. Region 1, 1A, and 1, 2, and 2, 1A are going to battle it out, just like 3 and 4. We're in 3 and we're in 4, and South Pitt's in 3, so we're going to battle it out with that region. And
Unica and all of them's going to battle out with the Coalfields and stuff.
I think maybe to the quarterfinals. you would get the quarterfinals. You get down there with those teams, semifinals. So,
Which Cofield is like undefeated, if I remember right.
Cofield's undefeated.
And
They're
Greenback
7-0,
is
and
Greenback is what? Something in one,
Greenback's undefeated in the region, but they're 5-1 overall.
and they lost to like Oneida, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost to Grace Christian Academy out of Knoxville,
Oh,
who has a good football team.
how bad did they lose that game?
21-7. So,
But Cofield is tearing it up
coming
on people.
I guess it's Friday night. Cofield and Greenback.
They're playing Friday.
They are playing Fridays. That should be for that region championship right there. Could be on the line.
Are they both undefeated in that region?
Currently, Cofield's 4-0 in region, and Greenback is 2-0.
So they're going to be playing for some.
They're playing for the marbles more than likely because
Who else is in their region?
Sunbright, Midway, Oliver Springs, Oakdale, and Harriman.
How good is Oliver Springs this year
They're 1-5.
overall?
Not too good.
What about Harriman?
Harriman is 1-6. They're 0
Midway, how good are they?
4-2, but they're 1-1 in the region.
So Midway could be a contender in the top four.
They're probably gonna get in the playoffs.
Which one's Oneida in? What region they in? They ain't in that, are they?
No.
Who goes in with Oneida?
If I'm not mistaken, Oneida is actually a bigger school. They are maybe 2, 3A.
So they're not
Let me
1A,
scroll
you
down
don't
through here.
think?
Let me scroll down through here. Oneida right here. They're 2A.
So they'll be in there with Trousdale and all them?
Yeah.
What's Oneida's record?
They are 5-2. Let's see.
And region record, what are they?
They lost to York 28-7. And they lost to Rockwood 27-7. So
Well, who does Smith County Owls get this week? Because I'm kind of curious.
I'm looking down through here right now. Trousdale County's still leading the way in that one, and they look to win it. They got Cascade and Jackson County left, so they'll probably win that region.
But they're playing Whitwell this week, and that'll be a tough test for them.
We kind of got off talking about Pickett County, but there's really not much to talk about.
Right, we're just trying to look ahead possibly and make some excitement. And so who's
Well,
Smith?
here's the thing. Maybe these kids will look at this and realize, hey, the road ahead ain't it ain't going to be all paved with gold. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to.
That goes back to what our theme though. Stay humbled and have humility, and don't let your pride get in your way, because it ain't going to be an easy
You got to win all
path.
these region games. That's a must. You got to win all those.
Before we can
If
focus
that
on that
changes,
though,
the
we've
road
got to.
gets harder. That's all you can say.
Yeah,
First
because
round
if
will
we
be kind of a. If you win the region, the first round's kind of a gift. Because you're going to play a 4 seed, which doesn't mean anything.
which don't mean you can't
Because
lose, because
I
Copper
watched-
Basin's always been tough.
I watched a Livingston Academy team go 4-6 one year and win the state championship.
So it still comes down to execution. And if you remember last year, we was a 2 seed and we wound up playing a 3 seed, and that team gave us all we could stand, didn't they?
That's right. So
Didn't they?
Smith County beat York, which was huge for them.
Well, who do they got for their next game after Sequatchie?
Sequatchie.
They just finished up Sequatchie, so who they got next? The Owls.
DeKalb.
They got DeKalb.
That could be a big game.
Well, DeKalb hadn't really been hot this year. They've been losing a lot of games.
That's right. So
We figured they'll win over DeKalb. Who else do they got left in their remaining schedule? DeKalb and who else?
DeKalb. Let me see here.
They got Watertown coming
They
up in
got
a few
Cannon
weeks.
County, which is a region.
And Watertown down the road,
Watertown
don't they?
non-region, and Grundy County is a region.
So they got
Smith
Watertown's
County, I
their
look
only
for them to
one.
win, though, so let's go see what Grundy County's looking like.
Not great, probably.
Not great. So
So out of their remaining games, Watertown's
Smith
probably
County's
about the only
looking to-
tester.
Tanya wanted you to mention Smith County, right?
Right,
Well,
so
if she's
we're-
listening, they could possibly finish second. And if
Second to
that's the
who?
case,
Second to who?
Sequatchie County. Sequatchie.
Is Sequatchie leading that region?
Now, get this. If York can upset Sequatchie, then that throws the old 3-way tie into play. And Smith County would probably lose that where they got beat by Sequatchie, but it could go on overall record. Now get this. If the tiebreaker, let's just take for example.
Well, what's Sequatchie's record? They lost South Pitt, didn't they?
Yeah, but listen, they are 4-2
Sequatchie.
currently, and Smith County's 4-2. The offensive is 184 to 127. Smith County 183 to 129. That's out of region. The region, it's 73-27, 83 to 65. So Sequatchie would have the upper hand in that more than likely, because that's when it all starts coming into play. The points for, points against. So,
And we don't.
Smith County could get thrown if they need a little help, regardless to beat.
And we don't want to get in a tiebreaker in our region either, because if it comes down to record and we get in a tiebreaker, then Joe Burns is going to just dominate the record and be region champs automatically.
The first tiebreaker is who beat who in the region. Right.
Right.
It goes
So
down to region stats.
if every team has got one loss and like whatever and one, then if the record comes into play, then if Joe Burns is like 9-1, then they're automatically going to be regions.
So let's just see who Smith County could possibly be playing. There's Loudon and Red Bank.
So if they're number 2 seed, then
Sweetwater.
who would their
Signal
3
Mountain.
seed be?
I'm gonna guess they're gonna be playing Sweetwater. Just a hunch.
Is that the 3 seed?
Currently, and they're 2-1, but that
Which
could all
one's the
change.
top dog? Or Loudon?
Loudon and Red Bank are tied.
Undefeated.
Both undefeated in the region.
When do they play each other? Loudon and Sweetwater or Red Bank.
We're gonna find out. That'll be the last game of their season, so
Them two.
that could be the deciding factor there.
And Alcoa now has what? 1 loss, 2 losses? Because I know they lost to Maryville.
Sweetwater.
Doesn't Alcoa have 2 losses this year? Didn't a second team beat them too?
Who you talking about, Alcoa?
Yeah, because that's another team Smith County may have to meet up with in the future. I won't think they got 2 losses.
They lost to Corbin, Kentucky, 22-21.
So they do have 2 losses.
That's right.
They do.
And then Maryville, they lost 28-24. But they lose to good football teams. So
if the Owls are to win that game, they're going to have to really, really pick it up and play hard.
that's right.
But
Regardless, looking down the road, if you're the Tigers, you got to go out and you got to perform Friday night, and you got to beat Pickett County.
Friday night after Friday night, every one of these games are important, and we've got to get the wins.
I look for this to be a game that a lot of kids get to play. What I want to see Friday night, and this is just coming from what we have to do to win down the road, I want to see not perfection, but I want to see mistakes eliminated. No fumbles, no turnovers. If there is a turnover, we need to be the one to get it. Right? If somebody turns, we want to get the turnovers. That's one thing last year that really propelled our season was we had Jay Vaden getting interceptions, and I think maybe half of them he returned for a pick 6. So I mean,
that's about
that
the only
secondary. We've had some balls hit us even last week. We had a couple that.
That's
just
about the
kinda got
only
away from
thing
us.
I hadn't seen this year. We've had a punt return, we had a kick return, got called back, so I'm gonna go ahead and count that as one.
Yeah.
But the only thing we hadn't had this year is a pick 6, and who would have ever thought it? Because most years we have a pick 6. So I'm looking forward to the one thing I hadn't seen yet. I hadn't seen a pick 6, so somebody go out there and get a pick 6.
Yeah. It was a good goal to set. Secondary, get a pick 6. Get a pick first off.
And then take it.
That's right. We've had a few picks, but I mean, I want to see some turnovers. And that's one thing we could improve on this week. Getting the turnover ratio back in our favor. I think maybe on the flip side of that, we're losing the turnover margin.
And another thing, Rusty, I'd like to see us pitch our 3rd shutout in a row. We got a little roll going. We got 2 shutouts. Let's go for number 3.
Yeah, well, here's the way I look at that. If the main team gets a shutout, that's great. If they score on their second stringers, not such a big deal. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm with you on that. I think I'd like to see our starting team, the defense, get a little momentum, and because it takes both sides of the football.
Speaking of,
playoffs.
Speaking of, I was a little disappointed because Mount Juliet finally give up points this year because they had Mount Juliet going into last week had pitched a shutout every game of the year, but finally somebody steps in there and gets 17 points on Mount Juliet.
Who scored on?
And I'm not sure who it was, but Mount Juliet beat somebody 31-17. So somebody finally scored on Mount Juliet after 7 games.
The Golden Bears. They've been pouring it on.
But that's the most impressive stat I have ever heard in my football career. A team goes 7 games and give up 17 points.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
And 6 shutouts.
Back in 1996,
they pitched several shutouts.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna show you a stat if I can find it.
But that's like ungodly though. You go through 7 games and a team pitches 6 out of 7 games shutouts. Nobody's.
I just want to look at this.
That's like 2.4, 2 or 3 points a game. So that's stout.
Don't know that I can find it,
But Rusty believes, he's not 100%, but he believes in 1996 or something that South Pitt pitched several shutouts.
No, Charles County pitched several shutouts.
They did.
Yes.
I mean, it don't mean a lot to some teams pitching shutouts, but I mean, once you get in a habit of pitching shutouts, it gets to be a habit. And you think I don't want these teams to score because we've already pitched 6. Let's go pitch another one.
And that was probably not even the year they were amazing that year. 96, but they ended up getting beat in the playoffs by DCA 36-19. But they beat Easel Hardin 73-0 in the first round of the playoffs. They beat Knoxville Catholic 84-15. And I couldn't find our score with them, but they beat us something like 32-14, something like that, 33-14.
But several teams didn't score on them.
I think they had zeros across the board that year.
Up until playing us.
They played us, if I'm not mistaken. If nothing else, it was only 6 points. Because they had one of those epic runs where they just had a killer football team. But
yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, that Mount Juliet's played 6 or 7 games, and they've only been scored on 1 time all year.
Yeah.
Could we possibly be looking at Mount Juliet in a state championship game this year, playing that kind of football in whatever class they're in?
I don't know. That's a...
Have they ever won one, the Mount Juliet Golden Bears?
I don't think so.
Well, they're playing good enough football that you may see them make a deep run in the playoffs and maybe even be in Cookeville.
Let me go type these in. Let me just, while I'm Googling, let's just go ahead and Google Mount Juliet.
Well, I mean,
the Bears.
I don't even know I don't know what region they're in, but if I've done my studying right, they give up 17 points all year.
Scores and standings. All right, standings.
So they've got a good football team, definitely.
All right.
They've not been beat.
Well, that ain't.
And while we're talking about teams, I just thought I'd throw that in there, even though it has nothing to do with
Mount Juliet. They have beat their opponents 274-17.
So there you go. And how many games have they played?
7.
So there you go.
And lost 0.
There you go. They pitched 6 shutouts and only was scored on 1 time.
Being in that 6A, it's going to be tough to win. They got to play some football.
Are they in there with the Oaklands and all them?
That's right. They're going to play the ones out of 3A. So, which is Oakland, Blackman, Riverdale, Cookeville, Siegel, Coffee County, and Warren County. And you're looking at Oakland, Blackman, Riverdale beat Cookeville, right?
30-28 on the last play. Who does Mount Juliet got left in their regular 10 games? The next 3 games, who will they play?
They only got 2 left. Station Camp and Hendersonville. They hadn't had their bye yet.
So Station Camp,
they should win those 2 games.
Will it be shutouts?
Don't know if it'll be shutouts, but it should be a.
Well, do you see Mount Juliet being able to match up with teams like Oakland?
I don't know. They're going to hit one of these. They're going to hit the number 3 seed Or the number 4 seed out of
Which
that
who would that probably be that they'll play first?
My guess is Cookville.
Cookville be a 4 seed as good as they're playing?
Well, you're in the region with Oakland, Blackman, Riverdale.
But
Would a 4
Cookville's
seed
only
be-
got one loss.
Well, so does Riverdale. And guess who that loss was to?
They lost to Riverdale. But who does Cookville got remaining, though, that could beat them and knock them out of a 4 seed?
Let's see.
They got Oakland,
They have Blackman, Oakland, and Siegel left.
which they ought to beat Siegel.
Yeah. So when you look at that, they're 6-1 overall, 2-1 in the region.
Well, Siegel might be your number 4
And
seed.
then you look at Riverdale. They've got Coffee County, Warren County, and Blackman left. I expect them to lose to Blackman. So
Because Blackman impressed you that night and you went and watched them.
both of those teams, Blackman and Oakland, got a football team. That game came down to turnovers. It did.
And Oakland got enough turnovers to pull it out.
Jackson's defense was tearing it up, getting the turnovers. And I think they won the turnover battle big time.
So you don't see Oakland losing another game through the regular 10.
I don't. I look for them to go undefeated.
Well, the Cookville-Oakland game is going to be a big game, and Cookville could match up with Oakland, right?
Right. Don't know how well they'll match up because I don't think they've got quite the.
Where's that game going to be taking place at?
It'll be at Cookville,
It's at Cookville?
October 20th,
That's the week we got Jackson, right? County?
Jackson County.
Darn, I was kind of hoping we could go there and see, because that'd probably be an impressive game. But
Well, we got some pull at Oakland. Maybe we can get them to change the game to Thursday night or Saturday night.
Oakland,
Yeah. Maybe we could call in a bomb threat.
we could.
Maybe get it moved.
But
I don't know. We'll see what we can
nonetheless, if we can't get it moved, we'll have to keep scores on that. And
do. You
see-
think we
see
got
if,
enough pull to get it moved on in the huddle?
I'd like to see it get moved, and us take a
I would
trip.
too.
Us take a trip down to Cookville and watch that
doubt-
game.
Paul, we've barely got enough pull for you to be the grand marshal of the homecoming parade. I doubt we get the 6A game moved, but hey, wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, we just root
Regardless,
for.
we've talked for 45 minutes on playoff scenarios for schools that don't even matter. We just kind of got bored and went to rambling.
Well, yeah, but that's
If you're still
exciting.
listening out there, congratulations.
You're a number one fan.
You're a true fan.
Speaking of true fans,
Maybe if you're still listening, get up off the couch and go do something more productive than listen to us.
speaking of, do you have that picture of our fan of the week this week?
I do have our fan of the week, and I have
Because we got a new fan of the week this week, and his name is. Do you want me to tell him?
No, don't tell it just yet. We got to go through here and find this.
But we're going to get that up for you just as soon as.
We're gonna try to.
Or we're going to try to just as soon as my cohort over here can,
I gotta
get that
the
picture.
I gotta get the picture saved. I gotta make sure I got it saved on here. Then I gotta do some transferring of files. I never do this until the show, by the way.
Right. But like he said, we was just rambling for probably 45 minutes on playoff talk and team talks and so I mean if we got you a shout out to your team there, then congrats for that, and if not, send in your information to inthehuddle.com and we'll talk about you because yeah, because we finally got our website because we got our third win, so we're inthehuddle.com.
All right, well, I have the picture. I just got to get it uploaded now.
In fact, if we win this Friday night, we've got 3 W's in a row. So that would be
www.
That would be a fourth website.
Yeah, true.
But that would be 3 wins in a row. A win over Pickett.
All right, I got to go through these 100.
Now this ain't gonna be the final score. This ain't gonna be the final score Friday night. But I had a dream that said Gordonsville Tigers 72, Pickett County 42. But that's not going to be the final score though in a 48-minute game. But but that was my dream anyway. 72 to 42. But I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to go ahead and give you fine folks a prediction. I'm going to say Tigers 42 and Pickett 0.
42 to 0. We don't have. Get me a y'all.
That's my prediction. 42-0 Tigers.
Got a high-powered offense. Like a year ago, I wouldn't have been afraid to say 56-0. Of course.
All right. So what's your prediction?
I'm
gonna go
last week. We're going to cover this because I think we weren't far off.
I said 42-14 last week, and you said 42-6. And if they throw a touchdown pass, 49-6. So
that's right.
So they threw a touchdown pass.
32-0. Well, let's just go ahead and erase the field goal and put it back to 29. We were on the 3-yard line. Probably could have scored with the B team. So there's one touchdown that we decided not to put on the board.
Which would have made it 36.
36. All right. Braxton fumbles on the 15 that we were probably going to score on it.
That's 43.
And then we had another touchdown. Another one he scored. He fumbled on the 8.
That would have been 50.
So I was not far off.
And then Monterey
dropped 4
Monterey
touchdown
dropped
passes.
several. Dropped several that they could have got a 6 on, didn't they?
Exactly.
So
predictions are just that. I mean, things change and all that good stuff.
But I'm going to go 42-0 Gordonsville. What are you going to say? So we got this on record. Give us a prediction.
I'm liking the 49.
You're going to say 49 to what? Do they score?
They can score, but they've proven they can put up some points. But I don't think they're going to on us. The only way they're going to do it is passing the football, and I don't think their passing game is nothing like Monterey's was. And Monterey, if they failed to score passing.
So you're going to do one better than me and say 49-0?
I'm going to go ahead and say 49-0, or let's make it a. Man, I don't know.
Or you kind of agree with me?
I'm going to go with. I do kind of agree with you. I'm going to go 40. I'm going to go 45-0.
You say we get a field goal in there too?
That's right. I say we get a field goal in there.
So
maybe we start off slow in every game, except Carthage. We come out, and actually played well in it right off the bat. But typically, we're not a first half team. You look back.
All right, so we're kind of in agreement on that. I'll say 42, and he'll say 45-0.
I'm gonna go 45.
So I mean, we might be proven wrong. They may come out and they may score a few points on us, and I think my dad had it predicted at like 38-12. Because I asked my dad, what's the score of Gordonsville and Pickett going to be? He said 38-12.
All right, let me export this bad boy.
He had them scoring 12.
And JPEG, where's it at? Right there.
But anyhow, we don't have no doubt that the Big Blue is going to come out of Pickett first
the
win.
This week might surprise some people. Are you ready to introduce fan of the week, Paul?
Do you have the picture up?
I got the picture up.
The fan of the week this week is a guy that they give the nickname
Die-hard fan,
and he's a guy that they give the nickname Turtle. He's actually a herd man.
Fast as lightning.
He's Turtle and he's fast as lightning, and his last name's Herd, and he's one of the kids on the team's daddy, I think. Right?
Nathaniel or Nathan.
He's Nathan Herd's daddy.
Herd.
And he's excited to watch this show every week. I gotta say, he couldn't wait to take a photo shot with me, and we got
excited about it.
And I can't blame the man because I am kind of a handsome dude.
Yeah, y'all might could pass for brothers. Maybe he might be the third. We didn't get him in here on the show. They wouldn't be able to tell y'all apart, or maybe me and him apart.
Right.
He's got a little more hair than I got.
Right.
But yeah, y'all. Y'all kind of look alike. Get you some overalls like that.
There ain't no way I'm wearing overalls.
Are you? Come on now.
They ain't no way I'm wearing them. I wore them back in the day, and I didn't like them. So
why not?
That's not going to happen. But
if you went shirtless with overalls, Paul,
that's not going to happen, brother.
Why ain't it going to happen?
Because I just don't like them. But anyhow, he was a good fan of the week, and he took a nice little picture, and it was a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm sure. I'm not 100%, but I'm sure after he missed last week and didn't get his photo shot, I'm pretty sure Friday night Drew Agee's just going to come run up and tackle me out there on the baseball field, and we're probably going to have a photo shot. So, Drew, if you're listening, which I know you are because you get up 5 o'clock every morning to listen to this, meet me somewhere on the ballpark, and we'll take us a photo shot.
At the ballpark. Fan of the week. We'll have to have a flash Friday night because it'll be dark up there at Pickett County.
Right, we'll have to have a flash photography.
That's right. We'll have to have some flash on it.
You might even meet me at home plate.
Fan of the week. Turtle
Man.
Yep.
And for all y'all
I
that
think you get as excited about these pictures of fan of the week than anybody.
I do. I mean, if we're gonna take them, we got to put them on there.
After the horn sounded, the last you couldn't wait to get down there and take your picture with Turtle.
That's true, and I actually want to interview Braxton, but that didn't get to that fell through. But
the kid had a good week, 294 yards.
Yeah,
he did drop 2 balls. You know, that's the stuff we got to work on. And if we eliminate that, that's what's going to make us playoff contenders. You cannot make those mistakes in the playoffs.
Right.
To win. And you have to fix those now.
Right.
So, you're a young man out here watching this show work real hard. And, you know,
and
interceptions and fumbles.
And put in a good week of practice, young men, because we expect Friday night y'all are going to hit the field and get some playing time. So be prepared and be ready to play. And
these young men better know what's going on this week.
And learn your plays and don't get out on the field like I used to be on some plays.
And
Lost.
Have a clue.
Who do I block? That's what I used to say. Who do I block? The man said, anybody gets in your way.
Yeah.
That's what they told me.
All right, Paul.
But in closing,
we've been rambling long enough.
In closing, have a nice week of practice. Put in your hard work, and let's go down there and play a clean football game and get that W.
Bring your popcorn.
And bring your popcorn, because it's going to be a show Friday night.
If you need any Dramamine for the ride up, stop at Amy's Drugs, Gordonsville Drugs.
That's right.
She'll fix you up some Dramamine.
And if you want to have a nice place to eat, there's plenty of restaurants in Cookville, and you might even find a Hardee's or two in Livingston.
It's going to be one of them long, winding roads.
It's a long, dark road up through there, and it gets kind of lonely. So y'all come out and join us, because Paul Martin don't want to be alone in that dreary town.
I thought it was a McDonald's we stopped at, but
it was a Hardee's.
I don't think it was.
It was a Hardee's.
We went to Hardee's in Monterey.
It was a Hardee's.
We're going
to
look back to our pictures. All right, we'll see y'all next week. We're going to look back